From international DJ to alpine skier, Benjamin Alexander's unique Olympic journey proves what's possible when you put your mind to it. Quote, "If you finish the course, you beat everyone who doesn't." These were the words of Jamaica's first ever alpine skiing competitor, Benjamin Alexander, just hours before he took to the slopes at the Beijing Winter Olympics 2022 after finishing in the top 50, 46 out of 89 competitors, a course that half the competitors failed to complete. He's broken barriers similar to Jamaica's bobsled team that debuted in the 1988 Winter Olympics in Calgary, Alberta, and served as an inspiration for all. Their ambitions, no matter how seemingly crazy, are achievable. But who is Benjamin Alexander? How did he get to the world's premier stage? And ultimately, how did he perform? Welcome to Gyre, where we explore the rich cultures of the Caribbean, the stories of its people, and the natural beauty of the region. Please like and share this video, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the notification bell for our future videos as we explore the Caribbean from one island to the next and from one story to another. Who is Benjamin Alexander? Benjamin Alexander was born in Wellingborough, England to a Jamaican father and a British mother in May of 1983. His father had emigrated to the United Kingdom as part of the Windrush generation, and his Jamaican roots were always apparent to him. Alexander lived a very full life, having done a variety of things in his short 38 years. Quote, "My mother, my father, and my brother have spent the most part of their working career either in factories or driving. None of them finished high school with any decent GCSEs or O-levels," he told Olympics.com. He studied physics and electrical engineering, but eventually ended up working in finance and wealth management all the way in Hong Kong. But after that period of working in finance, he ultimately quit to pursue his passion of DJing. Alexander began DJing at the age of 17 and had done it part-time throughout his life, but decided to take it on full-time and began touring in over 30 countries, performing at events such as Burning Man and even hosting shows in Ibiza, Spain. He ultimately co-founded his own music festival, Further Future, to award-winning acclaim. But after a period of DJing, Alexander was ready for the next challenge. In 2016, Alexander was invited to DJ at a ski trip in Whistler, Canada, and there he saw friends zipping down the slopes, quote, "doing this incredible thing called skiing," and he just thought it looked amazing. There he decided to try it for himself and booked a lesson that same winter. According to Alexander, after falling 27 times on his first descent, he was definitely not a natural. But in his own words, quote, "I kept going, and for me that's what this whole thing has been about. Putting your head down, focusing on small things you can improve upon one step at a time." His vision of Beijing 2022. When Alexander attended the 2018 Winter Olympics as a spectator, he became emboldened when he saw the 3 Jamaican athletes representing the island nation. It was then and there that Alexander became truly passionate and committed to representing his ancestral home. Soon after attending the Olympics, he gave up DJing, and though he did not give up DJing for skiing, it ultimately gave him more time to take skiing more seriously. In January 2019, Alexander met former Europa Cup skier Gordon Gray, telling the American about his wild idea and asking what he thought. After watching him for half a day, Gray said Alexander's technique was terrible, but was amazed that, having skied for 25 days and having had 2 lessons, the novice was somehow managing to keep up with him. "Technique you can teach," said Gray. "Fearlessness, not so much." In almost no time, Alexander swapped his discombobulating, nocturnal lifestyle as a DJ for a schedule of an Olympic skier. He was suddenly up at 6 every morning and doing 3 hours of intensive training and returning in the afternoons to put in another 3 hours of work. Quote, "I was struggling to stay awake past 5 p.m. and I absolutely loved it. He said during an interview with the BBC, quote, "This was my routine for almost 4 years." This fire inside of Benjamin began to grow, and he became committed to adding himself to only 14 athletes across 3 sports who have competed for the Caribbean nation of Jamaica at a Winter Games. He quickly drew to Dudley Stokes as his personal mentor, a member of the iconic Jamaican bobsled team in 1988. This legendary team of Devon Harris, Michael White, Chris, and Dudley Stokes, inspired by Pushcart Derby in Jamaica, caught a vision of representing Jamaica at the Winter Games, and Alexander began to embody this tenacity and drive. Alexander reached out to legend Dudley Stokes initially to have a 5-minute call. That first phone call lasted 3 hours and was the beginning of a mentorship where the two would speak to each other every week. Dudley Stokes would give him all the support and tips he himself learned while representing Jamaica at the Winter Olympics 4 times. Dudley and Alexander ultimately conversed all throughout his time in Beijing at the Olympics and was a vital source of support and encouragement for the first-time Olympian. The challenges. Alexander didn't have a coach. He bounces around picking up tidbits from a handful of coaches. Quote, "It's not like I'm part of a ski club and we do everything together. I'm on my own schedule in my own time," he said. The road to Beijing had its challenges. Apart from the momentous task of improving his speed and skill to that of an Olympic champion, he also faced external and logistical challenges over those 4 years. Alexander's first official race was in January 2020, just a year and a half into his journey of representing the warm island nation in the frigid cold temperatures of Beijing. But a combination of limited financing, the lack of a full-time coach, and the inability to train consistently due to COVID-19, which affected every athlete, left Alexander unable to make the cut for almost 2 years. Quote, "I thought that qualifying might have been the most difficult errand or the impossible mission. Fighting against the border closures and the cancellations of events and competitions because of the pandemic has been the hardest thing. These cancellations and travel restrictions due to the pandemic did not allow Alexander to participate in as many meets as he would have liked, hampering his qualification efforts. To understand how bad things were, Alexander had not had access to competition for 17 of the previous 24 months leading up to the Games. Alexander recanted that just in October of 2021, after not being able yet to qualify, he was frustrated with the whole experience. Quote, "I had been seeking advice and borrowing and stealing little tidbits of information from multiple different coaches, 6 of them in 1 week," he explained to his mentor Dudley when they would speak. But Dudley would give him words of wisdom. Quote, "Listen, Benji, you're smart enough to be able to take the best of what everyone's offering and leave the rest. And maybe for someone like you, that's a better situation than having one intermediate or poor coach." Benjamin's Olympic debut. All that hard work and patience eventually paid off in January 2022. Alexander placed a remarkable 7th in the giant slalom at the Cape Verde National Ski Championships in Liechtenstein. If I'd have realized the amount of work that it's taken me to get this far, if I'd realized the majority of the fighting would be against the pandemic and closed borders and all of that stuff, I'm not sure I would have started this. But I'm a man of my word, and I'm in it now, and so I'm fully committed, like it's do or die time. Alexander raced the giant slalom event on the 13th of February 2022, officially becoming Jamaica's first ever Alpine skier at an Olympic Games. When Alexander finished his first run on the Ice River course in a time of 1 hour 37 minutes and 94 seconds, he exclaimed to the camera, "Freaking hell, that was tough!" The course was just that, tough. He took a conservative approach to the course on his second run because he was not prepared to meet the same fate as the numerous skiers who could not maneuver what has been a really tricky course. Quote, "So many athletes, 41 athletes were beaten up by the course," he insisted. "There was no chance that I was going to compete with the best in the world," he explained. "So my goal was to just finish." Though his second run was a little slower, he still managed to clock 1 hour 40 minutes and 58 seconds. Pulling into the camera, he had a message. Quote, "That was for everyone who thinks they don't belong in skiing. Get your kids into winter sports earlier. Let's change the game. Thanks. I'm exhausted. I need a massage and a beer." Overall, Alexander finished a respectable 46 out of 89 competitors, ahead of 43 competitors who did not finish, indicating just how difficult the competition was. With a combined time of 3 hours 18 minutes and 52 seconds, 31 seconds behind the 45th place skier Arif Mod Khan and 69 seconds off the winner Marco Odermatt. Alexander thought he could have produced a faster time, but never saw a top 50 finish in his wildest imagination. Quote, "I achieved my goal and I'm very proud that I was 46. When I came down, a journalist was asking what I thought of my time and I remarked, I had no idea. I didn't even look. I had to explain that wasn't what it was about for me. It was about finishing," he said. Much later, a Portuguese friend said, "Hey, you finished top 50 in an Olympic Alpine event? That is amazing. I didn't know that was the case. So yes, it was intense," he commented. "The guy that finished 45th finished 30 seconds ahead of me and he was still nearly 40 seconds off the winner, and he has been racing for 15 years. He was able to complete his crazy dream against some of the best guys in the world. Quote, "Some of the best guys in the world didn't finish today, so at least I'm ahead of those guys," he told Eurosport after the toughest runs of his life. As the Olympics close and Benjamin Alexander packs his skis to return home, he leaves as an inspiration to all those who are intimidated by seemingly impossible and crazy challenges. To be the 15th person to ever qualify for the Winter Games holding the Jamaican flag and the first to do so in a giant slalom is a testament that anything is possible to anyone who has an ambition and a vision. Alexander is contemplating qualification to the World Championships next year. However, his main focus now is to assist young Jamaicans and Caribbean take the sport to greater heights, something he may be unable to do because of his age, which will be 42 by the next Winter Games. Quote, "Now it's about me helping the next generation of kids. I just came to show the world what is possible. Now it is time for someone else to take the ball and go and score the goal and get the medals for our country," he said. His advice to younger athletes is to find your niche, focus, and work hard at it. Alexander, wherever the future takes you, Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the world wish you the very best and thanks you for your contribution to the sport. Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, quote, "The mind is the limit. As long as the mind can envision the fact that you can do something, you can do it. As long as you really believe 100%. For me, life is continuously being hungry. The meaning of life is not simply to exist, to survive, but to move ahead, to go up, to achieve, and to conquer." Well guys, we've come to the end of the video. Please share your thoughts on the content of this video or suggest topics you would like to see us cover. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share our channel with others, and turn on the notification bell for our next video as we explore the Caribbean together. Visit Jairi.com or click on the link in the description below to subscribe to our blog or download our latest free Caribbean recipe. Thanks again.